嗨，大家好，欢迎你收听芭蕾why男孩。那这一集的 podcast 我会用全英文的方式进行。我从开播到现在还没有尝试过全英文的 podcast。我之前尝试过，就是两个人对谈，然后自己 solo， 然后 ASMR。到现在我想要来尝试试看用全英文的方式，来看看自己有没有办法主持这一集的 podcast。那请多多指教咯。Hi everyone, this is George and welcome to Project Sauté's podcast. So this podcast is usually in Mandarin Chinese, but this time I kind of want to challenge myself to record in English. I've been recording podcasts since September and they are all in Mandarin. So I thought to myself, why not try something new and different? Because usually I would record my podcast with my podcast partner in Mandarin just to talk about what we want to talk about.I also done solo stuff, just talking to myself with the microphone. And I've also done some interviewing Taiwanese artists. And I've done ASMR, which is an episode to test out my microphones. So this time I really want to try something new, which is recording the whole podcast in English. So here we are. Enjoy the podcast.Today I'm very excited to speak to my friend Sarah Chun. Sarah is from Chicago and she is a first soloist with the Northern Ballet. Hi Sarah, Merry Christmas.
Hi G, Merry Christmas.
So just to let everyone know, this is the second time that we record this episode.
Because someone, meaning me, is very bad at technology.
So basically, the first round, it was really smooth actually, you know?
Yeah.
But then, what happened?
I didn't turn off my sort of the beat rhythm or whatever in the
1,
background.
2, 3, 4, yeah.
Ugh. So sad.
So
that
sad.
That just reveals my age, George.
No.
That I don't know how
don't
to
even.
use GarageBand.
So we had a 5 minutes break before we start this over again.
Which we're used to.
Yes.
Used to rehearsal, 5-minute break.
Come back again.
Right back to rehearsal, exactly.
But this time it's a bit different. I got my coffee and cake ready next to me.
Oh, perfect.
So this episode, I'd like to talk about how you organize a choreography when the choreography is right in front of you. First of all, for those who never watched Sarah dance before, she is a very dynamic dancer. And like, when I watch her, I literally get goosebumps because the way she moves is just so incredible. Oh, so yeah, Sarah, I'd like to ask you, like, how do you organize choreography and make it into your own kind of texture?
I just love being in a studio with someone or a choreographer, whoever, leading the production has like a clear vision. Because even if you don't have the steps sort of sorted out, at least you and, you know, the dancer or, you know, the choreographer are both on the same page. So I really love someone who's very clear with their vision, but open to suggestions and ideas. Because that gives the dancer and, you know, someone like me who likes to play around, like, yes, you know, with movement and things like that, kind of the open space and sort of safe environment to do so. So anytime I go into like a new piece of choreography, whether it's a creation or something already set, I'm always sort of playing around, experimenting, seeing how I can make it more my own. Because like the worst thing is to choose a step or decide to do something that is not natural to you, because at the end of the day, you're the one on stage going to perform. Yeah, you're going to perform that. And so if you choose something super difficult that you know might not be suited for you, then, you know, in the end, when you perform, that's gonna read and the audience is gonna feel that. So for me, it's always choose your most natural, organic way of movement and apply that to the new piece of choreography or the creation, because that's the beauty. That's why, you're chosen to be in the piece, is because they see some sort of quality or naturalness about you.
But do you feel like you can put in your own kind of texture straight away, or do you have to wait for rehearsing at least for a few weeks and then you can suddenly layer it, because for me, I can't really put my kind of layer in straight away. I have to wait until I really know the choreography and I really can kind of perform it without hesitation. Then I can feel like I could finally put another layer on it.
No, for sure. I totally can see what you're saying. It definitely takes time. I think, the more you get confident with it, the more you're comfortable that you're not thinking so much, so then you can put your sort of spin on it. But I always try to approach things in a way that, like I said, would be more natural to you or in line with the vision of the choreographer or director, because like I said, like it tends to be the same for each cast if you all are just sort of doing it the same way. So for me, I try to do it from the very beginning. I try to, but not always successful, because like you said, sometimes you need to feel confident with the steps so then you are able to play with it. But I try to always, go in with it. But I think that comes with experience as well. So, the more and more you do it, the more you feel confident being like, okay, this is my strength and this is probably what I'll do here,
How do you know it's your strength though? How do you know?
Yeah, so like for me, I feel like musicality I've always been sort of natural with. From a young age, I've always felt like very connected to music, and I felt very driven with music through my movement. So I feel that, when I'm approaching a piece of choreography, if the music is really moving me, I'll just see where my instincts and, natural sort of way of movement, I follow that flow. Do you know what I mean? And we've all been in that state where we find that flow. And I feel like it's really important to hone in that, especially if it's like something new, like a new creation, for instance, because you're the one creating it. So you should follow that sort of, strength of yours, which for me is musicality, and follow that sort of drive through music. Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of, I feel like, my strength, how I'd approach choreography. And, then, once you get more confident, then you can add the dynamics and the texture, because dynamics and musicality are very different. So musicality...
What's your secret in being very dynamic? Because watching you, like, literally, I don't even know how you just play dynamic with every single steps. Like, you borrow some music in the beginning phrase to balance and then quickly rush into the end of music. It's just how you organize the music and movement all together to make the steps so full. It's just so exciting to watch. What's your secret to that?
You're so kind. For me, I think it's, always never being afraid to sort of step out of your comfort zone. So, like I said, musicality, I feel that I've always been natural with it since I was a child, but I didn't really feel like I was, per se dynamic until, later in life, like 18, or when I started joining companies, because that's when you're, you don't think about your technique as much, because you feel like you have that strong foundation, and it's more sort of experimenting with different textures and sort of pacing with your and rhythm with your dancing. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's really important for young dancers to start, playing with different dynamics in class.
Yeah,
because class is the base, right? Everything's so set up, like pliés, tendus, dégagés, etc. And it's very laid out for you, and even the music,
it's all the same. Every day is the same, so you kind of have to make it special in a way.
And it's like, even say an adagio, it's going to be slow and long.
Yes.
So how can you break that up? Because
how can you get through it in different ways?
Yeah, because it's like speaking to someone, like us speaking. If I just talk monotone, like, oh my gosh, hi, I'm excited to be, like, if it's all
Siri, that's Siri.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Siri, there's no sort of like layers and sort of movement that will go, that make you feel up or feel down, or different sort of tempos, whether it's quick or slow, because you can have dynamics in an adagio as well. Do you know what I mean? And I think people don't realize. I think people kind of get into this sort of habit of 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's really important in class to sort of push yourself and, think of different ways to layer a combination that you do every day.
So you think it's easier to start from class rather than just have to do it in the rehearsal?
Exactly.
And being stressed about it.
Exactly, because, class is something you do every day. And, it's a place where I feel quite safe, and I don't feel like super judged or, anything. It's just there every day for you. It's sort of like a meditation, right? Every day you're going into class, you set yourself up, and, at times you need to push yourself, and other times you need to sort of take more of a softer route, but in the end you're dancing to music, and you should always sort of embody sort of what the movement is making you feel. So I don't think music isn't also the same rhythm the whole time. You don't hear just one note playing bum 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 bum. Do you know what I mean? It's a scale, and it's constantly going up or down, and that should be your movement as well, even in class.
Yeah. Speaking of music, like in our rep, it's always so hard to count because it's like a 7, it's a 9, it's a 8, or like, like, I don't know, for me, it's so hard to count, or I have to really remember it, Like in geisha, it's like, it's a 12, it's a 8, it's a 7, and then another, because they commission someone for a score, so when it's something like that, it's just it's beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
But for us, it's so hard to count. How do you...
No.
Is it challenging for you?
Yeah, because I'm not really much of a counter. I really don't like counting when I'm on stage or when I'm in rehearsal.
I can't. Yeah.
So that's why since I was a young kid, I hated counting. I felt like it really, I think it's really necessary, especially for like core work and, when you have to be together with someone. But I dreaded it as a child. So I always felt, because I was connected with music, that I just never wanted to count, and I would just listen to sort of the music, but that takes repetition. I think like after you hear it a couple times, you'll hear hints and
recognize
different hints of music, or different instruments and the layering of the music to sort of drive you and move you, instead of focusing on the 1, 2, 3, 4. I think, but that takes time. Like I said, like it's experiencing such difficult music can be a nice challenge as well. So if you have to sort of, for me, put my ego aside and have to count, I will. But even through those counts, through those counts, there is still sort of texture and dynamics you can play with the music. Do you know what I mean?
And also it's different when you hear orchestra playing and versus piano. It's just very different, no?
For sure. And that's like the beauty of live music and live performance, isn't it?
Yeah.
To hear that difference.
And you were saying that you start playing with dynamic and music and stuff when you were 18, right?
Yeah, when I joined a company, for sure.
So it's obviously not Northern Ballet, because you say 18 and you say you've been here for 5 years. So what is your background like?
So I danced in the States professionally for 5 years. I'm originally from Chicago. And then I moved over to the UK about 5 years ago. So this is my 5th season at Northern. And yeah, it's been really like a beautiful journey, actually, because I've been able to experience sort of the American dance culture and now the European dance culture. And I probably started experimenting and sort of pushing myself out of the box with, dynamics and musicality probably more at 18, when I started to get opportunities and roles and got to work with different choreographers and people. Do you know what I mean? Because in school, it's not limited, but you do it's more for training, class and, variations and, things like that. And
I don't know if school teach you how to be like a dynamic person.
Yeah, no, I think it's through experiencing like who you are. Because I didn't really know myself as well at 18 very well, and through experience as a human, but also getting opportunities doing other rep, I think that's when you start to discover yourself. And that's when I started realizing, I'm like, ooh, I really like playing with different textures of movement and pace. And obviously I've always been driven by music, so I just let sort of that natural flow take over as well. So yeah, I definitely think through experience and through time, and like I said, through experimenting in class, that is where you start to sort of discover yourself. And that's when I started being pushed as well in company life, because I am starting to find more confidence in myself as well once I joined a company.
I think once you feel you have advantage of your dancing, or like when you really know what you can offer, then you can really shine through.
Yeah, I think it's like an inner confidence, because there's a lot of times I have a lot of insecurities, and I doubt myself a lot as well.
You do?
But yeah, no, for sure.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like it. It looks like you're just so like you're shine bright, like.
I think mentally, I can, rightfully say, I struggle sometimes, letting go of my insecurities or those imperfections that I'm trying to constantly perfect, you can say. And, that's what also drives me, and to dedicate myself even more to this art form, because I love to work hard, and I'm in love with dance, but also that can be quite hard as well, because, not everything is a blessing, it also can be a curse where you can only focus on the negative, and
I mean, I do myself. I focus on the negative sometimes, and that just brings me down my confidence level.
Yeah, but that's just you, isn't it? Like, no one around you is bringing your confidence down. It's like you're the only one.
The one, yeah.
Yeah, like I find that so crazy. Like, you're the one.
I think it's
only
because
one in your way.
Because ballet is not something like like for other people, like their job. If you said, "Oh, you're not good at your job," then it's not personal. It's your job. But ballet is literally our body, so it's harder to take in all the negativity. Because it's like
for sure.
you are not something,
Yeah, no, I
and you
totally
think more.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, dance is such a beautiful art form, and it's also a visual art form. And, and that's such a beautiful thing, but also it can be quite grueling, like you say, because since it is a visual art form and a physical art form, it's, really hard, because you're constantly worried about how you look, but also how it feels, and you're trying to constantly push yourself, and you're staring at yourself in a mirror 24/7, so it's very easy to see those imperfections. But I think it's really important to remember, like I said earlier, to like kind of remember what you have to offer and focus on your strengths, but also when you are looking at your weaknesses, to not look at it with a microscope, more look at it from like a distance, if that makes sense.
I mean, I'm trying to learn that part of dance now, to accept myself, like this, like it's never gonna be perfect. So just do the best I can do. That's what I'm trying to work on at the moment.
Sure.
But yeah,
I think also, I don't know about you, but I feel like I always perform and do my best when I don't put so much pressure on myself, and I just enjoy it. It sounds so cheesy, but I always remember the performances and sort of the moments.
What are the moments? Are there any memorable one, like throughout the touring and stuff?
I mean, even the most recent show that we did, which was we did a contemporary
the mixed
night
program.
we did a David's Eve celebration evening and the classical performance. I remember for David's celebration night, I had done Wuthering Heights, but also I did this really difficult Sleeping Beauty pas de deux.
Yeah.
And I was putting so much pressure on myself, because I remember
it's your first time coming back to stage for a long time. Is that why?
Yeah. And also, there was just, difficult steps in there, which I knew weren't my strengths.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, oh Lord, like, here we go again. It's been so long, but also I'm doing things that aren't my strength, but it's a good, challenge. But I remember going into the dress rehearsal and I said, why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? Just enjoy it. And in the evening, I just enjoyed it so much that I felt so happy with
How can you do that?
It's literally letting go of that ego. It's letting go of that pride of, because your pride and ego is like kind of what is protecting you for that failure, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you just let that go and you enjoy it, 99% of the time you're going to be more successful than fail. So
yeah, but it's a feeling, the inner feeling that you think that you might fail. I think that's scarier.
Yeah, it's the ego that and the pride that is using as a self defense mechanism, to tell you that, it's not going to be good enough, so that if you do fail, you do feel like you were justified and you're like, oh, I knew I was going to fail. Instead of putting that ego away and just going 100% in and trying to enjoy it. And, 50-50 chance you might be successful or fail. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to remember that, especially in stressful times.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of touring and stuff, like, do you have any, like, funny memories of us just, like, touring around the country?
I just miss, like, sort of the funny things that happen backstage, like the audience that, like, they don't see it, but we know that's happening. Like, people forgetting their props, like,
oh my God.
people
I did that before. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, people hiding stuff, like, and you open your tour skip and you see, like, a whole bunch of snow from Nutcracker or, things like this. I mean, I just miss the simple times where we would just go for, like, a meal in between the shows when we're, like, super tired and we need a coffee and we just need to vent to each other or, things like that.
Yeah, I miss that too.
Yeah, I think that's, like, the best about touring. And, like, or after 8 shows, you're like, how can we spice up this performance? And you just start adding, like, extra porta bras or extra,
or like in the acting part, just be very extra.
Exactly. I mean, I love a good head roll, so I might add, like, another extra head roll here and there. So yeah, it's just little things like that on stage that the audience might not see.
Air bites.
Yeah.
Remember air bites? No fishes.
So fun. But yeah, like, that's, like, the things I miss is definitely the camaraderie and just sort of the spending time with your friends and colleagues backstage. Because, like, right now, obviously with Corona, everything's so separate and like avoiding human contact and energy and all that. So
just try to avoid everything.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, like, very weird for dancers because we're always
touching, always talking, always be together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. George, this is your 3rd year, right, in the company?
Yes. Oh my God. Like, time flies.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
I thought I just came here and it's already 3rd year.
What's your favorite production that you've been a part of since you joined the company?
Well, I think maybe the Musketeers.
Why is that?
David's Musketeer, because, like, it's the first of everything, because it's my first time performing with the company, first time touring, first time learning how to fence, first time dancing on the rake stage, just a lot of first time.
It was such a good production. I thought everyone did
so well. It was. Everyone loved it. Everyone's like, we could keep going.
Yeah.
But then it's 4 weeks. It's only 4 weeks, so, which is a shame.
Yeah. I remember your first day, and I remember I was like, oh my gosh, this kid has so much potential.
Aww.
I was like, I remember.
I was like, so lost my first day. My God.
I think the first rehearsal you had was, like, ball or something.
Yeah, it was ball, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid is so talented.
I didn't remember anything. Like, it's really overwhelmed the first day. I don't really remember anything.
Yeah. It becomes a blur, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Do you remember your first year in Northern Ballet? What do you do?
Yeah, actually, I did sort of the core roles in Wuthering Heights, David Nixon's Wuthering Heights. It was a beautiful ballet, and I got to watch a lot of amazing dancers backstage. And I remember thinking, I was like, wow, like, I hope that I'm able to move and express myself like that one day. And it's just insane, like, 5 years later,
You're doing the role.
Yeah, it's just crazy to come full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, because we do so much work here at Northern, time just flies.
Time really does fly.
Yeah, and you just don't even realize that 5 years goes by and you're still here and you're still working away.
You're still working a lot.
Yeah. Have you picked up any hobbies since like COVID has hit and we haven't been able to tour as much?
Well, like I always been really interested in like marketing and stuff, like to bring out the best, to translate English stuff to Mandarin to the dance world in Taiwan. So Project Sauté is one of my projects. And yeah, I've been really dedicated to these things.
Yeah, I love seeing all your contact on Project Sauté. Like, I just find it so amazing. And, you constantly are sharing the dance platform to everyone, which is so nice. Like, I mean, I don't understand Mandarin at all sometimes, but I just love...
It's only in Mandarin, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I love seeing, Asian dancers thriving as well, and just seeing what's going out on there, like, in that world as well, which is so cool. I think Project Sauté is great.
I think for me, it's important to show a lot of news about Asian dancing in Western world. I think it's just more encouraging for Asian dancer to dance ballet or any dance art form.
No, I
because
agree.
if they see it, they can be like, oh, I'm very inspired and I want to be like that or something. So I think it's important to showcase Asian dancer doing well. So I try to post a lot about Asian dancers doing amazing at their company.
Yeah, I love it because, I mean, when I was growing up, in school, like, I think I only had like one or two dancers that were Asian that I could look up to. It wasn't very many, like, when I was in school, and I was like probably like one or two only Asian dancers in my class. And I mean, now it's a lot more diverse and versatile, which
now it's very diverse. Every company's got every race.
Yeah, I love it. But when I was in school, I didn't see that very much. So it's so cool. Like, I wonder if I was...
Time is changing.
Yeah, I wonder if I was younger and Project Sauté was, like, alive when I was younger, how that would have inspired or changed my thought process. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so doing this, and then I start my own podcast, and it's just something I like to do to share more about... because I try to translate English stuff to Mandarin, so people can get the news quicker.
Yeah.
And they can know what's going on to the ballet world and Western side,
Yeah.
So I think it's quite interesting. I've been doing that a lot during lockdown, and even now, still going.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and I think it's great that you're doing that.
Yeah. And you are a Eleve rep, right? Why don't you talk about it?
Oh, yeah. So I've been representing Eleve Dancewear for about 5 years. So it's a dancewear brand.
Is it American brand, no?
Yeah, it's an American dancewear brand based in Kansas City. And I used to dance at Kansas City Ballet. So that's how I met Lisa, the owner of Elevé. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet her when those many years ago. And I really fell in love with the brand, and also...
Is it just her company, or...
Yeah, she owns it. She runs it. I mean, she has like a team as well, but she started it from the ground up. I remember like my first order was from her home. She didn't even have like a shop or anything set up. She was just working from her house. And I just loved how the dancewear made me feel, because it gave me sort of this confidence, because I remember from school you would have to wear like really bad cotton, unbreathable,
cotton
itchy leotards.
Don't like it.
Yeah, that don't fit you. And I remember like, as a girl going through puberty and stuff, like my body was changing and I'd feel so underconfident with my body because I wasn't wearing leotards that I felt good in. And I was just it was so refreshing to find a dancewear brand that I love the message of, I love their product, and I love what they're doing for the dance world as well, that I just have been representing them for about 5 years now. So
what's so different between other brands and Eleve? Because there's quite a lot of dancewear brand going on in the dance world. So what's so special about them?
What I love about Elevé, obviously they're a customized dancewear brand. So they do have ready-to-wear options, but you can customize, from patterns, fabrics, design, everything to your liking, which I find so important because everybody's body is so different, and you're paying good money and you want it to fit and feel the best on yourself. And I find that's such a huge, huge bonus about their dancewear brand. And they're constantly connected to so many organizations, and they always help out whenever they can. And I find that that's really, really, really special. And they always go the extra mile to make sure that your product is what you expect. So I've been in love with them since the moment I tried on a leotard of theirs. But yeah, Elisa also, it's just quite refreshing to see a woman, an independent woman, grow her business from the ground up, because I saw her when she was just working out of her home, and now she has this beautiful shop.
That's crazy.
And a whole team.
And it's big. Elevé is a big company.
Yeah, so it's just really beautiful to see their journey as well, and I just want to stay loyal, and I think it's great. So
I actually have a unitard. It's from Elevé, from when I was in New Zealand. So me and my friend, we were trying to match, so we just go online and start shopping Elevé. And then we got it, and then the product came, and I was like, oh my God, this is too sexy for me to wear.
Oh, George, you've got to wear it. You've got to embrace the sexiness.
It's the side is all mesh, and it's a bright red unitard. I was like, I just couldn't. I took a picture, and that was it. It was in my closet for a while.
Oh, no, G, you have to wear it, because, that's what I love about having such different dancewears, because when you go to a rehearsal or in class or whatever, it can change your mood and give you that confidence that you need that day or something. Say you're doing a role that is a bit more sexy, and you wear that will sort of inspire your movement. And
I guess so, but it's just so sexy to wear just in class. It's just oh wow, it's a bit extra.
No,
if I just wear that.
I'm all about the extra. You should wear whatever you want to wear in class, and like I said, in class you have to constantly experiment, so you can also experiment with your wardrobe as well.
That is true. That is a good suggestion.
Yeah.
So, do you have any code for any of the listener who would like to go to Elevé to purchase their product? Do you have any special code?
Yes, so it's Sau.te, and you can get 20% off your order, any order, anytime, and that code will always be there for you. So please feel free to use Sau.te to get 20% off.
Sau.te.
Yes.
Wow.
20% off. That's a great deal.
That's really good. Yeah. Okay, just to the end of the podcast, I just want to ask you, if you can give me an advice, what would it be?
Ooh.
It's a hard one, eh?
No, I just want to make sure it's good, so that it will touch you. Aww. And you will full on take in the advice. I think you should always remember what you have to offer. And you have made it this far in the dance world for a reason, because you have so much to offer, and you have so much potential and so much more to grow into. And so, since I know you personally and we're friends, when I see you comfortable and in your element, and I can really see that sort of shining aura around you. But I know if, you feel sort of pressure from the outside or any influences that kind of you feel bring you down, I can see that you kind of close into your shell, which is, really hard, because obviously in the dance world there is a lot of pressure. But I want you to always have that sort of inner confidence and remember your strengths. Even if you don't know your strengths, all of them quite yet, I want you to keep discovering them, so that you have them in your back pocket, and you always have them for your confidence, not to use, but to have for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So that you are able to continue doing what you're so good at. Do you know what I mean? I just want you to fully be convinced on what you have to offer.
Okay.
Because it's so much. You have immense potential. you have so much more to grow into, like I said, but as of now, to get to where you want to go, you have to remember what you have as well. It's like there's no point of trying to strive for perfection if you're just going to forget what you've already accomplished. You know, it's so easy to forget your accomplishments because you're so focused on what can I do better next. But if you don't reflect and kind of think, oh, I really did that and I did that well, you can appreciate it and then move on. But if you don't even have the accomplishments in your back pocket, what's the point of striving for anything? Because you're just gonna die and
be sad,
be like unsatisfied. Unsatisfied. You know, you want to be satisfied in your life.
We just really need to take times to slow down and reflect on what we have done. Otherwise, our life is just moving so fast. Like it's already my 3rd year. You know.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like even though it's like sad and sort of depressing COVID life has been, there's been a lot of times I feel like personally I've discovered things that I've enjoyed, people that I've connected with and stayed in touch with, and you know, it sort of puts your priorities in order and makes you remember, like, reflect on what you have done well
and what you're grateful for.
Yeah, and what you want to work and strive towards.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for chatting with me on my podcast, Sarah.
Thanks, George, for having me.
Thank you for recording again. I think it's more relaxing this time, though.
Yeah.